experience is I am a peer support specialist with lived experience. I'm also a retired alcohol and drug counselor. And what I have to say to you is, one of my favorite statements is, those who wander are not all lost. I do a lot of wandering. As a matter of fact, it makes me feel good. It's one of my wellness tools. I like to walk everywhere. I like to look at everybody. I do window shopping. I do people shopping.
And real quick, I just want to interject. I apologize, but one member of our team, Stacy, had another meeting she had to go to, so our schedules were just really off kilter. So I'm trying to put her slides are in here too, so the slides might seem a little off because I'm trying to fill in for her. So we've got a couple slides just to cover real quick prior to you jumping off point, if that's okay. All right, sorry. So keeping with the format that was so wonderfully created by the innovation guy or the idea guy. This is the problem we see. Behavioral health patients often have poor interactions with first responders and other service providers due to the lack of identification. And I hate reading from this, but I'm sorry, since it's not my slide, I don't have a choice. Or episodic incidents, because I know you're all capable of reading, so I won't read everything too, but I'll just kind of put a few of these up here so you can see the information, and then I'll let Julie kick off with her part of the presentation. And this is the main part of meat and potatoes, you know, how might we use technology to help the most vulnerable who have lost their ID access and cannot access their benefits. So we want them to be able to receive benefits and their medications and treatments, and yet when you lose your ID, which you cannot, so that's the major problem.
It's a nightmare. Enter IDA, which is an acronym for Identification Accessibility Behavioral Health. We've heard today in everybody's presentation, at least I heard, what a nightmare it is to not be able to access medical help, especially mental health help. Psychotropics. There's nothing, I will say empathetically, less disconcerting that could just trigger an episode in me than feeling less than, by not feeling part of, and not recognizing who I am. That is so very important to the individual, and everybody has a God-given right to know who they are, and feel that they have a right to be. IDA can provide that. I'm introducing IDA as a identification accessibility as a facial recognition application. I will inform you that the way I got to this information, most of the information acquired was face-to-face interviews. I interviewed people on the streets. I interviewed seniors. I interviewed vets. I interviewed people who were just out of jail. I interviewed persons who do IT at NAMI. I interviewed persons who do IT at UCSD. I might have something there because my UCSD contact advised his legal team, who advised him to do a disclosure, and he wants to be a consultant on my team. He just really loves it. He works for the mental health numbers for UCSD, counting the people who were in the behavioral health department, leading behavioral health department.
And one of the things with this gentleman is that he can only do work as a consultant because he said because he works for UCSD technology, if he actively participates, like basically anything he creates, UCSD owns. So that would then limit the scope of where we can use it.
And then I also reached out to a relative who works with Hitachi, and after they heard the information, said, "Thank you for the lead." I said, no, nephew, that's not the way we're going to go with this. It was very funny. There are several technologies that are presently available. Sharp, Mercy, there's finger technology, there's fingerprinting, there's the hand palm. But picture this. This is, again, I come from my experience. I will divulge to you. By the way, I have 18 years clean, sober time. And that's very, very important to me. However, I've been on the other side of that too. So I have been in mental health institutions. I have been incarcerated. I have lost my ID. It is a nightmare. It takes an act of God in the state of California or San Diego County to get benefits if you do not have facial ID. Try to get one from the DMV. They want a stamped birth certificate. Why if you have no money? How many people on the streets have money? You know?
Or the birth certificate.
Or the birth certificate access. I mean, it can be a tremendous nightmare, and it just crushes the soul of the human being to have to go through that. However, if you have facial recognition, back to the facial recognition, thank you. If you have facial recognition for mental health and AODS, alcohol and other drug histories, it would be helpful. All you do, and it's non-intrusive. It's not like a police officer grabbing your hand and doing the fingerprinting. It's not, many people don't want to be touched. Schizophrenic symptoms can be much like methamphetamine symptoms also. And they don't want to be touched. It's a horrific crisis for them. But if you have a small item like this, perhaps, and just ask them, could you possibly be on item? Would you mind if we took a selfie maybe? Click. It's not intrusive and it's not threatening to you. That's what my idea is with IDA.
And I just put up the information for the law enforcement that you had interviewed.
More of my interviews were with law enforcement. I interviewed 8 officers, 2 out of Rancho San Diego, 4 out of North Kern Mesa area, where I happened to be having lunch with NAMI. And they all were very positive. Rancho San Diego informed me that they have facial recognition right now for the purpose of gang members.
And Rancho San Diego is just for the main sheriff's station is now, for those of you who don't know, in this county.
For the words of a retired police officer. So thank you. At any rate, they use it for that purpose. It is so much more important to have the biography, the treatment plan, the psychiatrist, the psychotropics that they're on. Who are they out of Weston? Are they out of Mesa Vista? It's to have all that information at hand. Puts the police officer and the first responders and the person at ease in a much more comfortable environment. Being known is so very important, and that history can go on facial recognition.
So some of the existing programs that are also out there that kind of, there's like so many different programs, and we need to get one thing that can bring everything together. So you've got the Take Me Home program, just talk about the gang program. They're also talking about using drones for doing the facial recognition. Personally, I think I have my own issues as far as personal space and everything, and it's one thing if someone's going, may I use my phone to look you up in the system so that we can get you the assistance you need at this time, versus a drone flying over and snapping a picture or something. I'm not sure if that will fly, no pun intended, with a lot of people who are in crisis at the moment. One of the best systems out there right now, can I see a show of hands, how many people are familiar with CIE? Cool, there's a few of you. So this program, they're actually running, I just found out, I didn't know this part of it, or they're trying to run it through 211, and I'm hopeful that that can get better coordinated. But it's an information exchange that now, like Stacey was going to say, Chula Vista just signed on to it, San Diego PD is signed on, the Sheriff's Department is signed on to it, Sharp is just newly signed on to it, Mercy I think is already signed on to it. There is just a massive number of groups and agencies who are finally signing on to one program. And it's a community information exchange is what C stands for, CIE. And they have, it's basically a database sharing, trying to share certain information. HIPAA makes things cumbersome, but they're figuring out workarounds for that, which is so important. And they're going, so they've got like the databases to talk to each other, right, for information. However, how do they get the person who doesn't have the ID to get the access? So we very much see what we're proposing to go in line with working with C. The groups are already signed on with C. Now this just adds another technology for people to gain their access through C, so someone can look them up. Then they, using the facial recognition system, that pulls up their record, and now whoever needs to do it can see it. I want to kind of go into the stuff that we wanted to talk about specifically for the technology that's so important on the doing facial scan. We'd also even discussed doing retinal scan, and we're kind of figuring out which technology, might give the best results. And there's a lot of varying opinions on that, so I won't go into all that right now, but just know that either way can work with the system. Initially we had even talked about the fingerprinting part of it. However, Julie very specifically mentioned that, that reminds people of being fingerprinted for, being arrested. So, anyway, one of the most important features that you'll see up here is that about accessibility. Law enforcement doesn't need to see what medications you're on. They just need to say, hey, you get most of your help at Mercy, or you get most of your help at a clinic down on Marina Boulevard through County, I know it's not called County Mental Health anymore. Can someone tell me the new name? I just always know CMH is what I've always referred to. No?
The clinic on Marina Boulevard?
Yeah, the big main on Rosecrans, the big main.
Oh, the health service complex.
Right, and County Mental Health is what we always called it when, as Julie mentioned, I'm a retired police officer, where I was only on the department 5 years. I fractured my ankle on duty and stuff and had some other issues going on, so I had to retire. But so back in the day, we called it County Mental Health, CMH. So it's just like someone, a scheduler, who's scheduling an appointment for a patient, a sharp. They don't need access to their entire medical history. They just need to know who their doctors are. So it's already going to work with systems as far as who can see which information. So people don't have to worry that, oh, this cop's going to look me up, see that I have schizophrenia, and think they need to handle me this way or that way. It's not. It's limiting the information and protecting, and above all else, we definitely want HIPAA. And they were talking about it actually can give you higher levels than even HIPAA with the encryption, as it exceeds HIPAA requirements. So these are the different things. It keeps information from getting mixed up. I identify, one person identifying someone as white, another as Latino. So the demographic information will all stay the same. So that's the gist of that part. We just want to use technology to help those in crisis who have lost their ID and receive better, more efficient, coordinated care. These are some of the earlier sketches that we had done for where we were going with all this. Questions and answers.